Hey everybody. Welcome to Pillars of Eternity Night.
Of course.
We are going to get started back. You'll have to excuse my voice. I have a bit of a cold. But we'll try to do as good as we can.
Hey.
So, right up front, I think I have a stream schedule set up now. I'm going to try to stream on Wednesday evenings, starting around 9 o'clock for a couple hours, and then Friday afternoons, if I can, from 3-ish to 5-ish. And then on Saturday evenings, around 8, my wife and I are going to start streaming some retro games. So hopefully that'll be a lot of fun. All right. We are in the first fires. And what are we doing? We are just going around looking at stuff, I believe. We went in the Ducal Palace and we met the people that were trying to take Caed Nua from us, and we ended up resolving that issue. We went into the embassy, so let's move on around in here and go into Crucible Keep. Hireling payday. 600 copper paid. Very well. Alright, nothing much in here, actually. I will need to rest before we go out again. Just a car. What is it? I'm looking for a neighborhood with a tower. It's near a cemetery. Best you stop looking then. The place you want is Heritage Hill. You can see the tower over the district walls out that way. But something happened there. They don't let people in anymore, and none of the knights want to be posted anywhere close to it. Steer clear if you know what's good for you. Wow, we got experience for that. Where are the mad kept in Defiance Bay? Only place around here that takes them is the Brackenberry Sanitarium. I've heard they can treat your soul there, take the madness away. But there's just as many stories coming out of that place that'll chill your blood. There's a man, if you want to call him that, Ethelmar, there. He's head warden. If you're visiting or checking in yourself, he's the one to talk to. Okay. Great music. How's everybody doing tonight? Just... Oh.
Well met, friend.
Justiciar Aldmar. Every day we get more from the hinterlands pouring into Defiance Bay. Keeps us busy on the watch, it does. You look like you recently arrived yourself. Who are you? A soldier of the Crucible Knights and proud of it. I help keep everything running at the keep so that Commander Cliver can focus on more important matters. Looking for something? Or just knocking the dirt off your boots? What goes on in Crucible Keep? This is the headquarters of the Crucible Knights, so it's where we store arms and armor as well as where many of our soldiers bunk. Commander Cliver's in the back making plans, as usual. You'll find the forge at the west end of the building along with our master smith, Dunstan. There's also a shrine to the golem if you're the praying type. Tell me about the Knights. We're the defenders of Defiance Bay. We're not exactly a formal knighthood, but don't tell Commander Cliver I said that. We were the first organized militia to oppose a Diran rule, and today, we're the largest force in the city. Our soldiers undergo years of combat training, and our officers are required to have their souls read by that critter out in Dunrid Row. What is Dunrid Row? Just a requirement of the Crucible Knights, so the higher-ups know there's nothing messy built in your soul's past. Keeping the ranks pure is fine by me, I just wish they were more careful in hiring their ciphers. Spit it out. They're mostly Orlans. I'm sure they're talented enough, but you just can't trust them. Hostility's in their nature, and they've learned to hide it over the years. All I'm saying is they should at least be supervised by their folk. That's reasonable enough, isn't it? If people treated them better, you wouldn't have to worry about them being so hostile. I'm just speaking the truth. Nowadays it seems that's the biggest crime of all. There's Dunstan.
If this is about the breastplates, I already told Cleaver they won't be repaired till next week.
Ooh. Show him the pieces of the blade of the Endless Paths. That's a fine blade indeed. Looks Adiran, special made. Must have been a commission for a champion of some sort. A sword of this caliber would have had a specially designed hilt too. It would be a shame to graft anything else onto it, and besides, it'll balance best with all of the original pieces. You find the rest of it and I'll forge it for you. Something else on your mind? What do you do here?
I'm a forge master. I'm a master smith for the Crucible Knights. But the way I see it, I'm also keeping up with our old traditions. The first members of our order were smiths. Nowadays, most everyone's a professional soldier. I suppose it's to be expected, but I think it's important we keep up with our roots, too.
Okay. Pinhelm.
Gods keep you.
Are you looking for something? Does the name Osric sound familiar? If you've got any self-respect, you won't associate with him, or with any of his new friends at the expedition hall for that matter. Scamps and delinquents, the lot of them. He says your affidavit is a forgery. Just what would he know about it? It's perfectly convenient for him to cast aspersions, what with his pedigree in the Knights. It's a lie, of course. Is that his breastplate you're wearing? It was. It became property of the Crucible Knights when he was discharged. Now it's mine. And it's not for sale, if that's what you're wondering. Not every day you find armor that was used in the rebellion. What's the story between you two? Osric has always held some controversial opinions, but they went overlooked for the longest time because his family had such an extensive history of service in the Crucible Knights. He finally went too far. He had the gall to suggest that we had strayed too far from our roots, that some of our officers were beginning to resemble a dear nobility. He would have us all wear rough spun and fight with forge hammers. I merely reported his statements. The history made the Knights what they are now. You can't just cast it aside. We've outgrown that past. Sometimes you need to move on. Outgrown it like an old sealskin coat? You adapt with the times, sure, but that is a bit naive. How does someone become a knight? We don't just take anyone. Our members share soul legacies with the very men and women who defended this land a century and a half ago. Anyhow, Commander Cliver is responsible for initiations, but he rarely accepts foreigners. Okay. Find Pinhelm's affidavit. Looking for a piece of paper. Looks like it might be in here. Pinhelm's affidavit. Curran, a cipher duly appointed and employed by Dunrid Row, does hereby certify that Novitiate A.M. Pinhelm has been found to have a soul free of any subversive influences or tainted essence. The scroll is stamped with the seal of Dunrid Row and signed by both Pinhelm and Curran. Yoink! Bring Pinhelm's affidavit to Curran. A lot of things I can't steal. Ooh. Some sort of training hall. Wyla. If this is about patrols, my novitiates are already stretched to their limit. Between the refugee influx and the mess at Heritage Hill, I simply don't have any units to spare. I'm sorry, was there something else you needed? Is there something wrong at Heritage Hill? What isn't wrong is the real question. A whole district of walking, flesh-eating corpses. We sealed the area 2 months ago, just after I lost one of my finest commanders there. And yet this is the second guard rotation to disappear. There are already enough rumors about this place floating around the keep without my soldiers whispering about these disappearances. I'd just as soon abandon the district, but if those monsters should find a way out, I could look into it. And after what I've just told you, you want to go to Heritage Hill? I've lost trained soldiers there. Why should I let anyone in? Just seems like you could use the help. If you're so eager to rush to your death, I won't stop you. And if you're somehow able to put a stop to this, you've got my permission. What is Heritage Hill? It used to be one of the most prestigious districts in Defiance Bay. But a few months ago, the residents all went mad, started eating each other, and anything else that had the bad luck to wander into the district. I've never seen anything like it. Now, every novitiate that stands guard there, everyone that comes back anyway, talks of the stench of the grave and the groans of unspeakable horrors. The why and the how are questions for the Animancers. I've sealed the district in hopes of containing whatever happened there. It seems to be working for now. Okay. We have to enter Heritage Hill. A distant relative of Eorn has arrived at the stronghold requesting they be freed in exchange for coin. He was nearly set upon by brigands on the road, but your patrols intervened. All right.
Hey.
What just happened there? I didn't release Eorn, did I? I'm pretty sure I clicked accept money.
Of course.
Confused. Daily affirmations of focus and efficiency. Shrine of Abaddon discovered. All right. Have we been up here? No.
We just don't have the manpower. Refugees from every corner of the Deerwood. The dozens getting them all riled up about animancy. At this rate, we'll need twice the soldiers to patrol Defiance Bay. Yes? Can I help you with something?
You're in charge of the Crucible Knights. Here in Defiance Bay, anyhow, the High Justice is the leader of our order, but he's currently stationed at Fleetbreaker Castle. My job is to oversee our forces in Defiance Bay and to keep order for the Duke. Was there something else? Why don't you have enough soldiers?
Fleetbreaker Castle. The High Justice has summoned almost half of my novitiates and more of my justiciars to a keep on the other side of New Hailmar. It's not for me to question the High Justice's orders, but it's left us short-handed. And mark me, we're just a couple sparks away from anarchy.
Is there any way I can help? Always refreshing to meet someone who'd rather fix a problem than complain about it. Forge Master Dunstan is working with an Animancy scholar to build what we're calling Forge Knights, warriors that can patrol our streets without suffering fatigue, disobedience, or fear. Some agitators throw a rock at them. We don't have to worry about things getting out of hand. He's constructed the armor, but we need the scholar's research. Unfortunately, she hasn't been around the last few times my novitiates have checked. Viana lives with the rest of the Scriveners out in Copper Lane, but I haven't the soldiers to spare at the moment. Go to the Scriveners' dormitory, see if you can find her. When you get the research, just bring it back to Dunstan. This is his area of expertise anyway. Once you brought him the research, he can sell you any arms and armor if you have need. He forges and repairs all of our equipment. You won't find a more capable smith in Defiance Bay. Okay? Tell me about the Knights. We're the only professional army in Defiance Bay, or in the Deerwood for that matter. We defended the city in Hadrit's day. We've improved our training since then, but Dunrid Rowe can certify that many of our officers come from good Deerwood fighting stock. Excuse me. Now we're responsible for patrolling the city and keeping the peace. With so many refugees pouring in from the countryside, that's becoming more important than ever. Unfortunately, that's earned us enemies, particularly among the dozens and some of the more enterprising families in Defiance Bay. What do the dozens have against you? They're demagogues and troublemakers. They forget that Defiance Bay is one of the largest cities in the world and not some frontier outpost. Most of them are mercenaries on a good day and street thugs the rest of the time. Needless to say, they have no patience for law and order. I see. Alrighty. Let's go.
This elder of yours, he may have returned a drunk or an invalid.
Maybe. But the search for Persock is just as important as what I find.
Is that right? And what if you return empty-handed, eh?
I never return empty-handed.
Okay. We have the affidavit for Pinhelm, so let's give that to Curran. That's in Brackenberry, so might as well head that way.
You've been on your own for 5 years,
I've had Itamok.
but you can't talk to him.
My standards changed around year 2.
Oh, Peter wants to talk.
Strange place for a shrine to Abidan, Crucible Keep. Maybe it made more sense at some point before it gathered all that dust. And the only thing the Knights of the Crucible worship these days is the nobility, as far as I understand it.
I knew some soldiers who got recruited by the Knights after the war was over. They told me some about it. They get these young kids in there and they tell them about blacksmithing and about the revolution and about tradition. Talk about the golem like he created the Crucible Knights in his forge to go win Deerwood's independence. Then they join and it turns out all any of those knights ever talk about is when are we going to get recognized as a real knighthood? When are we going to get our titles and our land? Their High Justice wants to be an earl. Says it's Abaddon's will. He's got a castle and an army. You wonder how long he'll wait before he starts a war over it, saying Abaddon told him to. For all we know, maybe Abaddon is telling him to. Wouldn't be the first time a god inspired his followers to make a mess of things. Makes you wonder if we'd all be better off not listening to them. Excuse me, everyone. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to get some cough drops. Okay, I am back.
Hey,
The old seasonal allergies. Great. Let's talk to this Animator. ...
of course.
Nadine,
How do you do?
do you mind? I'm rather busy. What are you so busy with? I'm studying soul attachment. We all know that souls move into people at birth and out of them at death. But we still have a lot of questions about what makes them stick, so to speak. What do you mean about making them stick? Souls power bodies and give their tissues life, but only when they're firmly attached. It's separation that leads to a whole spate of soul-related ailments, including the Hollowborn. But if we understood how to reattach souls, we could end Waidwin's legacy, maybe even conquer death. That's the theory, anyway. Unfortunately, I don't have all the research I need to put it into practice. What do you need? There's a manuscript called The Theorems of Pangram. It contains research from Pangram's experiments on detached souls. The Hall of Revealed Mysteries is rumored to have a copy in the Elder Archives. Pangram's work is considered to be one of the more daring animancy texts. Not something generally circulated amongst novices, nor easy to get a hold of. I wonder if we might have a peek at it. The theorems could advance my research by leaps and bounds, but Grimda, the High Archivist, worships whale, which means she has some paradoxical views on sharing and restricting knowledge. And since she's not exactly a proponent of animancy, she tends to restrict the kinds of information that would be useful to me. Maybe she could be persuaded? You're welcome to try, but you wouldn't be the first. Look at me, spilling my troubles. I'm kind of easy to listen. It's kind of easy to listen, but I really should get back to my work. Anything else? I'm an animator at the sanitarium. Currently, I'm researching matters related to Waidwin's legacy. Hey, Rossi22, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Quarter Age. Appreciate it very much. Thank you. I know about Waidwin's legacy. This is the sanitarium. You love watching. I love playing this game, so thank you for watching. It is a very good game. I love it. Sanitarium guard. Ooh, stuff to take. The most unfortunate tale of Fabia and Bernat of alien tragedy. Nasatak Poetry, a compilation. Psalm to Wodka. Midwife's Memoirs. Who dat? Headwarden Ethelmore. A well-maintained statue of a middle-aged man presides over the room, looking down unblinking over the bustle of harried academics pestered by the hopeful desperate. A strong warmth emanates from it that you could sense from across the room. There's a human soul stored beneath the stonework. You feel its attention turned toward you. It has been some time since a watcher graced these halls. I am envious of your natural insights, traveler. I can only imagine how it might have helped my work in life. Now, what is it that has brought you to my sanitarium? You may have a member of the Leaden Key in your midst. I could have done without hearing that today. Many have their intrusions been into our affairs. Of course, one can seldom be certain whether they've meddled or whether calamity has struck on its own. But a few of their less skilled infiltrators has been exposed from time to time. They are a perpetual nuisance. Once again, I am reminded of how envious I am of your gifts. I suspect they would be of some use in verifying one's identity. You are at odds with the Leaden Key as well, I take it. They have something I need. I hope it isn't knowledge you seek. They are seldom keen to part with it. Do you know who it might be? I won't know until I've met them. Very well. In that case, I would recommend you speak first with our resident animancers. They have frequent interactions with both patients and colleagues. You'll find them up here or in their offices downstairs. Excuse me. You will report anything suspicious to me immediately. This is my only request. I'm looking for Modred. Modred, of course. You will find him downstairs in the first room on the right. Does anyone here know anything about awakenings? There's an animator on the lower floor who came all the way from Revua to study them. Take the stairs down and look for Bella Sedge. How did you come to be in your present state? In the statue, you mean? Well, I was old, and it seemed wrong to me, a lifetime spent in pursuit of discovery, only to lose it all in death. Somewhere, someday, I would wake up in a new body, none the wiser, and pursue a different course entirely. All that experience wasted it. If we are ever to unearth the principles behind our existence, it will be in spite of our condition. Of that I am quite sure. Excuse me again. To live on as part of something I helped build seemed to me a better legacy than what nature had in store. The transfer itself was quite simple as our technologies go, and for that I am grateful. Playing with souls is far easier to accept when they are not your own. I do miss being able to take an active role in the scholarly efforts here. Now and again, one of our animancers will humor me and consult over some problem. But they are a jealous breed and are too often afraid to collaborate. If you are considering it yourself, I can tell you that it isn't for the easily bored. Hey Rossi, I take it you've played this game, or you just like watching it on Twitch? Finding it. Okay. Saint Wadwin, farmer become god. It's weird. You played it a couple of times. Wow. That's awesome. Yes, this is my first playthrough. I really don't know where to go, what to do. Hence blind. I have played a lot of CRPGs like Baldur's Gate and those kinds of games, so I'm familiar with the overall interface and stuff, but story-wise, I'm clueless. So we're downstairs. All right. I think Modred said was, yep. Okay. Okay. In a corner of Modred's lab rests a large, weathered trunk. It seems likely to contain something important, if only by virtue of its size. Examine. The lack of dust on the trunk's surface and the long scratches on the tile flooring suggest that the trunk is frequently used and moved throughout the laboratory despite its considerable size. Deep yet narrow gouges score the wood at the edges of the trunk. They look like claw marks. I don't think I have a key for this. Unlock the trunk? Oh. You take the key you acquired from Helig and place it in the lock. It fits perfectly and turns with a solid clunk. Sweet. The trunk holds no grimoires or treasures. Instead, you find yourself staring into the feral gaze and toothy maw of a twisted, monstrous creature. Its humanoid form has been overwhelmed by bony angles and terrible claws. Great. With a start, you recognize the vague shape of a young girl beneath the elongated, malformed bones and grayish skin. It growls and leaps from the trunk, not toward you, but toward Modred. Modred has no time to scream before his throat is torn out. What? I didn't even get to talk to this guy. Okay. Unexpected results. The canine host was listless and unresponsive, but it was determined that this simply the implanted feline soul. Yarn resulted in vigorous stimulation. Who puts a body in a chest? I thought I was gonna get treasure. Yeah, the story so far is awesome, and I love the vast amount of choice. Like the fact that I was able to open this treasure chest and a undead thing came out of it and killed this guy that I didn't even get to talk to. So what does that do? What does that do for... I'll have to go talk to Helig. Yes. There's Bella Sage.
Well met, friend.
Ikosi, here I am. Here I am, looking so hard for answers in my research that I do not see the kith standing in front of me. What can I do? I'm looking for an expert on awakenings. Ah, that would be me. Though the lack of research subjects has made me more of an expert in counting floorboards, I would like to transfer Animancy's success in buttressing pre-awakened souls to soothing those whose souls have already awakened. But I need subjects, and most of the patients here are too broken to produce reliable results. It is a tragedy to have come so far for nothing. You're in luck, I have a volunteer. Gallard, who is it? I don't know about this. Don't be silly. The process is perfectly harmless. All you must do is stand in that cage. I beg your pardon? I jest. You Adirans are so uptight. I do not even know what that thing is used for. It belonged to the last occupant of this office, I think. Now they upgrade him to a cell. Again, I jest. So, I need you to sit here and try to relax, but don't try too hard. Then you will not be relaxing. That's true. Very true. Indeed. And you must also wear these. A little cold, but the copper will help conduct your essence. The Animator fastens thick copper bands to Aloth's forehead and wrists. Now, I will examine your soul through my scope. It is fitted with Audra lenses cut to different thicknesses and concavities. By manipulating them, I find the angles and densities that will allow me to track the anomalies in your soul. How exciting! I've never seen this sort of thing performed. It seems suitably complicated. Does this mean we'll get to talk to Isselmere more? I like that lady. But first, we must find this cunning interloper. You will answer some personal questions while I make adjustments. Don't worry, I'm sure we won't hear any of it. Very well. To begin, tell me something personal. Something from a time before your awakening. There's nothing to tell. I was just a normal child living in the Sithwood. What do you remember about your home? As you speak to Aloth, you feel your voice like a bell in your chest. It tolls softly, luring him into the mists of his own memory. Belisage doesn't seem to notice anything, but you feel as if your words are smoothing his essence, untangling its many threads. Comfortable, modest, quiet when Mother is away, which is most of the time, quiet enough to hear the clink of glass on wood. This is when I know to be most careful. Father is good about hiding the bottles. Mother, when she is home, is good at pretending not to notice them. This is good. I'm starting to see something. Continue. Tell us about the time you awakened. I am in my 5th year of training. Mother is home. I can let my guard down a little because when she is around, he is usually only angry with her. But he has heard that I have had trouble casting missiles. That my flame shields are unstable. He is furious that I have failed, and Mother's presence reminds him that he has failed too. The first blow takes me by surprise. One moment I am sweeping the kitchen, the next I am sprawled on the ground, stupidly looking at flecks of my blood on the tile. His boots, glistening with fresh polish, thud across the floor. He kicks me in the stomach, and I curl up to shield my vitals, but it's pointless. Protecting one thing only leaves something else exposed. Still huddling on the ground, I retreat as fast as I can. I retreat until the vision of the kitchen and my own trembling knees is nothing but a pinprick against the field of black. Madiko! He's hypnotized himself with his old memory. You've got to bring him out of it, quickly. I almost have it. I'm tempted to slap him, but I'm not going to do that. Squeeze his hand. Aloth's eyes snap open, but the expression you see in them isn't his. He's ne'er safe where I hap upon him. Must be his alter ego. That's it. I'm seeing a shift in his essence. Something spreading and congealing. Keep talking. He seems to respond to you. What brought you here? Cracking bones and voices are high in ire. That warm molasses feeling that clips down your gut when crisis is nigh. Belfetto. We have flares of a totally distinct essence. Now, try to get the two of them talking. Isselmere, tell Aloth why you've awakened. V, he's the one needed me, hiding in his own bone bag like a turtle in its shell. I never turned it over to you. Good, yes, very good. I can now see two separate patterns of essence. Where he ebbs, the other flows. It's as if the awakened soul fills the spaces that he leaves empty. Go on. Aloth, what is this about ceding space to Esselmere? I've given her nothing. She usurps me in my own body. Aye, and I lend him a pair too. You should ask what I did to that old man of his. How's the last time he laid a hand on us? I break it in 3 places. That wasn't your decision, and it's never been your decision. Now I was awakening, but now I'm stuck with ye, and damned if I let your ninnying drag us both through the scupper. Ah, very good. I think I finally got something we can work with. I've tracked Isilmir's essence throughout the exchange. She had a particularly high density index during the most heated portions of their argument, and her essence seemed to localize most clearly in the lower portions of the subject's left ribcage. That's right around the spleen, which of course means that she is triggered by black bile. No doubt the subject's characteristic melancholy is to blame. That's utter horseshit. It does seem as though she's got one thing right. Yes, never mind my years of training. I suppose you have a better explanation? You're close. I think Isilmir's appearances are related to potential sources of trouble for Aloth. I suppose that could be true. I'll have to check this against other research. Well, and good for you, but what does this mean for me? Belisage frowns at her notes, tapping her cheek with a quill and making a grand show of concentration. However, you catch her stealing a glance at you over the pages. Isilmir tries to take control from you when she thinks you can't face a problem on your own. You can't let her make these decisions for you. My thoughts exactly. I'll have to be more careful about her from now on. I've got a lot to process. Regardless, thank you for your help, Parent Starflower. Well, I hope this has been as useful to you as it has been for me. I finally have material worth publishing. You'll be the toast of Rivua, Fentry Aloth. Aye, advancing the rightwise principles of animancy, just what you've always wanted. As you turn to leave, you catch a darting movement out of the corner of your eye. Belisage is humming to herself, still occupied with her scope, but Aloth is holding her notes. He's just about to tuck them into his cloak when he catches you watching. Please, I don't want my personal information published like this, especially not after her nonsense. Interesting. I mean, I feel for him. I wouldn't want my information to get out in public. However, he wanted us to go to this place to get help. But of course, I don't know her. I know Aloth more. I can't let you do that, not after hearing how much this means to her. He slides the papers back onto the desk, giving you a rueful look. I'm not gonna help you explain this one, scholar boy. Alright. Done and done. Ripley,
I'm
believe it
here.
or not. What?
Hey.
Note from Ozzo. Ripley, I require more copper tubing for my next experiment. Do not requisition it from the sanitarium stores. I don't have time to deal with the head warden's inevitable questions. Cademan Ozzo. Talk to Ethelmore about Ozzo.
Hello.
Oh my, you startled me. Are you supposed to be in here? What do you do here? I mostly help Master Ozzo set up and clean his equipment. I also keep his office organized since he's too busy to do it himself. Yeah, I've already talked to her.
All right, then.
Unlocking this will require the proper key. I don't have the proper key. Back upstairs, I guess. Yep, you'll have to excuse me. I've got a bit of a cold. So, a lot of nasally conversation and coughing and sniffling. Okay. I don't think I talked to everybody. Oh, I gotta talk to her.
Hail and well met.
Have you learned anything of interest? Maybe is Cademan Ozzo running experiments on the patients here? Experiments? Cademan Ozzo is in charge of patients' welfare now. He's not authorized to run any more experiments. I am disappointed in Cademan. I had hoped he would be the one to guide your inquiry. He'll be in his office or in the patient's wards. I am granting you immediate access so you can find him. No doubt you will wish to speak to him further on this matter, and I for one am curious as to what he might have to say. Tread carefully in the wards. There are a few dangerous cases. I would also ask that you do your best not to agitate the patients. They have had enough trouble as it is. Okay. The patient ward was downstairs, I guess. Yep. Eee. Frail. A curved spine twists this woman's posture forward, her greasy hair draped over her large eyes like vines. She smiles at you. You must be visiting someone. A friendly visit, I hope. You know where I might find Ozzo? I think I've seen him around today. Have you checked the laboratory? It shares a wall with his office. He's been spending most of his time there lately. What do you know about him? Oh, I like him very much. Many animators could care less about their patients. Look at us like vermin from their experiments, but Master Ozzo treats us like humans, even the very sick. You can tell he does this to help people. He's helped me understand a great deal about myself and know he's done the same for others. It's too bad what they did to him. He hides it well, but I know he's still affected by it. What happened? They don't like to talk about it, but there was an accident. He was said to be one of the brightest in Deerwood. That was his reputation here, and that was what brought me to seek treatment. People say it was ego that drove him to try and solve the legacy, but that's hogwash. Even if he was a bit of a showman. He loves his homeland. He thought he could help. He wasn't one to speak of his work, suspected his colleagues might have tried to steal it, but he told me once that he had figured out a way to create a soul. Not a soul exactly, mind you. How did he put it? A proxy, I think he called it. Had some machine that drew energy out of the very ether. Can you imagine? The point is, it was going to help with the legacy. It was going to make the Hollowborn into something easier to love and care for. Gods know that's something we need. Do you know what they call those empty little babies in Andra's gift? No, tell me. They call them buoys because so many of them are found floating face down in the water. These are mad times. Anyway, Master Ozzo has scheduled a public demonstration of his work in Copper Lane. He was so excited. And then the next day he was locked in his office, turning away visitors, I heard. And he stopped seeing patients. I don't know exactly what happened, and I don't have the heart to ask him, but I'm glad they're letting him treat people again. Have any of the patients here been acting unusually? Well, there's Batixa, who relives a murder she committed more than 5 lifetimes ago. Idleman, who they say only has half a soul and who was found collecting the faces of others because he believed his own to be a false one. Graham, he speaks in a language no one understands and wails at night sometimes. Different from their normal behavior, I mean. Well, yes, I suppose. But nothing they did volunteer for. Master Ozzo let us know that a number of patients in the North Ward had volunteered for a new therapy and would be escorted to his laboratory to receive treatments. The North Ward has our most troubled cases. I'm glad some of them have chosen to get help. It seems to me it's gotten quieter over there since it started. It's Graham I see them taking in the most. He struggles, but he's always a bit of a wild one. Would I be able to visit the North Ward? They like to keep them separate. I don't know that I've ever seen the guards allow a visitor, just Master Ozzo. You might ask him, he's very sympathetic. Why are you in here? I don't want to say, you'll think less of me. I'm listening. These last few years haven't been kind to me. They haven't been kind to anyone, really. I try not to think of it as personal. I lost my husband and both boys in the Saints' War. My daughter, the legacy took her before she was ever mine. I made do. What else can you do? I moved into a tiny place in Andra's gift. Got by mending clothes and on the kindness of strangers when I had to. But I was surviving and the gods were watching over me. I could live with that. Then one day this noble woman comes in, wants this fancy gown fixed. Gorgeous thing, this shade of blue I'd never seen before. Only I had. I looked at it and it reminded me of something. I had what they call an awakening. Okay? I remembered being a noble woman myself in another life. People doting over me, men doting over me. Me, the best food, the most beautiful home, all the things you'd never dare to dream of. They were mine. It was poison, knowing that. All those things I had that I'll never have in this life. It did something to me. My food started to taste rotten. The walls in my little room seemed to close in around me. I stopped being able to sleep in my own bed. So I came here. It was that or break into an estate and start ordering servants around. It seemed like such a silly thing to worry about. You don't have to tell me, but I can't get past it. And I started to wonder, did the gods choose this life for me? And if so, what terrible thing must I have done to deserve it? Maybe you'll get there again one day. If not in this life, then in another. The strange part is, I think even the best wouldn't be good enough for me anymore. I think it must have gotten to that point when I was that noble lady. Okay? Uh-huh. Lockpicks. Poultry. Elise. Ah. Master Ozzo said he'd make me better soon. Too bad. So sad. There's Ozzo. A round-faced, balding man turns to face you. His upper lip is pulled upward slightly by his pointed nose, exposing his upper teeth when he scowls.
What is the meaning of this?
Ethelmar told me you're not supposed to be doing any more experiments. Yes, well, Ethelmar hasn't done much good for anybody since he has had his soul moved to an inanimate object, so I fail to see why I should let that sway me. If Animancers all follow the commands of their leaders, where would we be? We'd all be a backward and willfully ignorant as red serens. We would know nothing about life or death, or even ourselves. We would be lost in the dark with no clue as to why. I never thought I'd find myself in agreement with a statue, but Ethelmar's right about this fellow, at least. How easily ambition masquerades as prudence. I'll bet he's fooled even himself. You toy with things beyond our comprehension. It's dangerous and foolish.
Are you from Rayed Ceres? Are you Wydwen himself, risen to smite me for my heretical belief in learning who I am and why I exist? Please. You are afraid because men have taught you to be afraid. Because they were taught to be afraid. These things are only beyond our comprehension because of the fears of people like you. Who will solve Wydwen's legacy? Some church? Some warrior? It will be an Animancer, or it will be no one at all.
Have you tried your experiments on any other subjects? I have, yes. No point in lying about it now that Ethelmar's involved. I asked for volunteers from our patients and a few brave souls came forward. I was very close at one time to a breakthrough. They understood that. They understood their sacrifices would mean something. I heard you were demoted. How did it happen? That's none of your concern. Did one of the others put you up to this? Oddmere? That smug weasel? Things went wrong. Everything, I don't know how. I'll never know. I'd like access to the North Ward. Out of the question. Those patients are in isolation for a reason. So you can coerce them into your experiments? Friel told me everything.
She's a patient! That blazing woman knows nothing of the nature of my experiments.
He balls up his fist and digs his teeth into his index finger. A growl simmering beneath his breath and a deep scowl compressing his face.
Fine. Speak to them for all the good it'll do you. I'm sure the discussions will be fascinating.
He pulls a heavy key from one of his pockets and nearly slams it down on the floor before handing it to you. Sweet. Access to the North Ward.
Laying low.
Secrets? Secrets? Oh,
See now what the flame has shown us?
white leaf. Hey, Rossi, if you're still here, what class did you pick for your run-throughs? the North Ward. Okay, that goes back in there. Let's see what's over here first. More flesh constructs. Sanitarium guard. Keep your distance. White's in that cell back there. We've got incident one. Okay. Silver. So there's a way to get in there somehow. Just not sure how. You want to be friendly, buy me an ale. I don't think I can give him items. Alright, let's go to the North Ward. Is this my face? Tell me. Okay. No, it's not your face. Thundering sky, rain of blood, innocents must drown. There's Graham. This man has the look in his eyes of a haunted animal, and at your approach, he staggers backwards to the far corner of the cell, halfway appearing as though he would climb the walls if it would get him farther away from you. He cries out, a bizarre primal utterance like nothing you have ever heard. I need to ask you some questions. Graham looks at you blankly. It is unclear whether he understands you or not, but his panic has momentarily subsided. He opens his mouth to speak, but the words that come out are half-formed as though his tongue were cut out. They are impossible for you to discern, if indeed they are words at all. The mutilations of animancy, crueler than any torture, to disfigure the soul. Let us return the favor to the animancers of this shit heap. Frail said you were being treated by caveman Ozzo. He looks at you with uncertainty. Slowly, tentatively, he steps closer to the front of his cell, and as he does so, for the first time you can perceive his soul within your kin. It is misshapen, as though maimed by some jagged instrument, and large expanses of it have been gouged out entirely. You feel no barriers of resistance. If you wanted to, you could look further into Graham's soul. Sure. You project outward towards the maimed soul in front of you, merging with it, its confusion and fear becoming yours as it whisks you into its depths. You're in your cell. A key turns. The door creaks open on neglected hinges. Thoughts come to you in waves. Incompetence, broken, fearful. Standing at the door is a rotund, balding man. His upper teeth and pointy nose remind you of a rat. He beckons, apologetic. You don't want to go. Anything else. In your mind is a single word, and the word is no, but it dissolves before it reaches your lips. You press against the back wall, cornered. You cry out. In the darkness, you fight against unseen restraints. You cannot move your arms or legs. The man walks into the room carrying a lit candle, its meager flame casting long shadows across books and machinery. Straps bind your arms and legs. Cold metal circumscribes the crown of your head and the breadth of your chest. The man is sorry. He is in need of raw materials. They dismantles his work and he needs another source. He needs to show them he was right. He thanks you. Then he turns a knob and you feel yourself begin to crack from within, and you can feel pieces of you torn away like having your insides chewed by a horde of rats. And you are screaming a scream you can barely hear. Continue searching. Another night. Heavy footsteps outside your door. Coming for you. You look through a slit in your door. The flesh giant, the artificial being just outside but facing left, facing the end of the hall. The boy there. The boy looks with interest at the giant, then collapses to the floor like a shed snakeskin. The giant convulses for a moment, then rights itself, turns away, and leaves. Graham looks at you, still wild-eyed, but somehow more present. He nods at you, then walks back to the end of his cell. Speak to the patient at the end of the hall. Okay.
These poor people. This isn't the treatment that they were promised upstairs by the cushioned seats and lush carpets. Is that the cure for soul sickness? To be thrown into a cell and subjected to the whims of your captor?
These animancers are as mad as their patients. But if all were treated like this, the sanitarium would never survive. What did these patients do to warrant such conditions? Good question. There are just as many who come here and are cured of their ills, people who would otherwise be cast aside. Here's the source of all that knowledge you were so giddy about. I hope so. You're probably right. It's just hard to see. Let's be on our way. This place gnaws at the soul. A scrim. A willowy adolescent boy stands in the center of his cell, gawkish and stoop-shouldered. He stares straight ahead, the occasional blink his only movement, and it is unclear whether he registers your presence at all behind his glassy, doll-like eyes. In this state, the barriers between your soul and his are thin and porous, easily bypassed if you should wish it. I do wish it. You close your eyes and edge forward towards the boy's soul, and as you near, a sudden malaise comes over you. You are cold and warm all at once, sweating and shivering and straining for breath, as you did on the caravan journey. The soul you approach is the wrong one, a parasitic plant that strangles its host. It is predatory and pitiless, and you have crossed paths with it before. Too late does it occur to you to retract, and already you feel yourself plunging into some interminable abyss of thought and memory. You are standing in the cell now, the same cell in the sanitarium. The halls are moonlit and empty, and you are waiting. At the far end of the ward, the door opens, revealing a flesh golem in silhouette beneath the stone archway. It makes its usual rounds, the same stops every time, the misbegotten child of despondent creators. When the construct is close, you coil yourself up and spring forward, passing out of the boy's body as though it were a membrane. You can sense his body behind you collapsing to the floor, a puppet whose strings are cut. You are rushing towards the golem now, bodiless as a gust of wind. Quickly, you think to yourself, quickly. and you feel the strength hemorrhaging from your soul as you dart towards the makeshift abomination. You pass into the golem's shell and overtake the soul it implanted within, encircling it, suppressing it, and contained in this new vessel you are strong again. You step heavy-footed down corridors unheeded by the other constructs and scrutinized only by the wary, untrustworthy eyes of the mad, coming at last to an office piled with books and scribbled papers and the perverse implements of animancy. You set your oversized hands upon a large machine, a nest of globes and tubes and coils in the center of the room, and go to work, bending wires and unsettling alignments. Your surroundings are pulled past you, or perhaps you are pulled past them, and they dissolve into a blur. When they settle into place again, you are outside on a clear day, standing in front of a crowd stacked high above you on the tiered seats of an amphitheater. You are acting for the crowd, standing deliberately still, but this is no play. A balding man with rodent-like features is strapping you to a machine, the one you had tampered with. You see your arms for the first time, short and fleshy, unmistakably those of a little girl. But this body is not truly yours. Your mind still holds the same determination, the same hard-heartedness as before. The body itself is cold and vacuous. Unlike the others, this one has no soul of its own. The man speaks, and the crowd applauds with an enthusiasm worthy of a hero's entrance. "Bear witness," he says, and he pulls a lever. The machine shivers and sparks, and a bead of sweat rolls down the side of the man's brow. But the crowd's apprehension quickly gives way to awe as a crystal globe fills with a radiant mist that casts the entire theater aglow. He opens a valve, and the glow crawls through a tube along a length of copper wiring that runs to a set of electrodes beneath your armpits. Oh. You feel nothing when it reaches you, as it should be, for you have been leading his work astray periodically for some time, altering notes and settings and playing puppeteer for Hollowborn. But you make it look how people would expect it to look when a body is infused with the soul. In a moment, the machine goes dark, and the man unstraps you, eyeing you with a scientist's concern. He looks back up at the crowd. "Behold," he said, but there is obviously hesitation in his voice. Slowly, you take a plodding step forward, then another, and another. You look up at the man, giving him the eye contact of which no Hollowborn is capable, and the crowd gasps. The man looks relieved. "How do you feel?" he asks at a volume meant for the crowd, and this is the moment. At the top of your lungs, you let out a piercing shriek. The man comes towards you, his hands outstretched, but you run the other way, back to the machine. With all your strength, you drive your head into the crystal globe, and it shatters, streaking your head with warm blood. You drive your head down onto the surface of the machine again and again, drawing panicked screams from the crowd. And by the time the man reaches you, your body has already ceased proper function and merely twitches on the cold ground. Satisfied, you depart the corpse in search of another unsuspecting host. Who could put their faith in animancy now? You are pulled again from your surroundings, transcending the boundaries of memories and lifetimes, deeper and deeper past betrayals and murders and lies upon lies that form the thick webbing of plots beyond mortal comprehension. You settle at last on a room you have seen before, expansive with a tall device encasing an Adra monolith at its center. The room is filled with people, and the people all look like the device. You are yanked suddenly back to reality, and the once catatonic boy in the cell is looking directly at you, appraising, calculating. There is no mistaking now that it is the soul of the man who caused your awakening that gazes out from that borrowed husk. A watcher. Interesting. You made me into a watcher. I need you to undo it. I believe we share a common past. I'm just looking for some answers. Is that so? He makes no effort to hide his disinterest but he continues to search your eyes. He makes a slight grunting noise, and his eyes soften for an instant, and it seems, for that moment, that he recognizes you. He opens his mouth to speak, then seems to think better of what he was about to say. His jaw tightens. I know your look, your hunger. Hunger for answers that elude you. It gnaws at your soul. It usurps your reason for being. You are like everyone. I will help you let go. He dodges backward with startling grace, putting himself out of reach. On his face there is no malice, only the dispassion of a farmer putting down a sick animal. Then suddenly he slumps forward. What in the world? Okay. I did not get to rest. So this may not go well. I'm not sure. Let's knock some people out. Whoa, 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 whoa. All right. Perrin. Oh my gosh, it was super awesome. It was hard to read with a cold, but man, that was interesting. I really enjoyed that, and just what happened just now, that was fantastic. Love it. I'm going to get wiped probably, but let's see here. Alright, that's okay, that's okay. Nice. Let's get that guy.
Brave shall not kill.
Phew.
Hey. Hey,
Hello.
That
Hello?
yelling and screaming is unnerving. Scroll of Jolting Touch. All right. Yeah, Rossi, I was asking what characters you had run through with this game. Level up. +2 movement speed. Stunning blow. Reduces the duration of incoming and existing hostile effects by half. Temporary bonus to fortitude, reflex, and will. Target bumps others out of the way and bounces off hard surfaces like walls before ending up prone. Deflection and a bonus to all other defenses. Reflecting half of ranged missiles targeting only the monk back to their point of origin. Generates a shockwave around the monk each time he or she gains a wound, inflicting a small amount of damage to and possibly calling an interrupt on all enemies in the area of effect. Yep.
Oh, come on!
hey.
First playthrough was an archer. Yeah. I bet all of those were fun though. So I went with a monk
All right then.
mainly because I have a D&D session that I play and I'm a monk. And so I thought I would recreate my character from D&D here. Overall, I don't know what I think about the monk. Like,
I'm on the trail.
he doesn't do a whole lot. He has to get hurt, and my tank takes a lot of the damage. Oh, I didn't realize we were still... Okay.
Brave does not believe.
What? Don't even slow it.
Sweet. I'm actually gonna go back
All
here
right
to
then.
rest. Yeah, so I was saying the monk is, I mean,
I'm
he's
here.
cool, but I haven't had to do a lot with him. Which of those characters were your favorite?
Certainly.
Hey.
All right, save, rest. Ooh. Prevents a severely wounded character's health from reaching 0 when it would result in the death of the character. Accuracy and might bonuses while enemies receive penalties to the same. Immunity to the confused and dazed afflictions. Major endurance, good. Blinding and burn damage. Penalty to all defense and accrue burn damage over time. Delivers when any ally in the area of effect delivers a killing blow, he or she regains endurance. Nice. Level 4 spells. Fusion. Dimensional shift. The stun. Double of the caster, causing shock damage to hit the enemies hit by it. Shield. Iron Skin. Fires 5 missiles of pure force at the target, causing a shockwave of crushing damage to foes close to the impact. I want that. That's cool. Subsequently cast a spell on it. Gives the caster access to up to 3 free 3rd or lower level spells from the target's spell list. The wizard can subsequently cast those spells in an unlimited number of times for the duration. Oh. Wall of Flame. Yeah. So once I got Durant's, I was like, man, I would have loved to have played a priest because I always go to him first to do anything. And he's just been a saving grace for the entire party. Okay. We need to exit this place because the screaming and yelling. I uncovered a leaden key operative in the sanitarium. He has the ability to possess those with weak souls and was using one of the patients to influence Cademan Ozzo's animancy research. Oh, maybe we should talk to him. He was... Oh, I forgot. Dang. Just rolling up into enemies.
Brave does.
Hey.
I forgot that his AoE does damage to vessels. Awesome.
Hey.
Now let's be quiet.
I shall be discreet.
Here we go. What have you done? You've been experimenting on patients against their wills, mangling their souls. I have witnessed it with my own eyes. Ozzo's face drains of what little color it had. How could you possibly? Look, it had to be done. Ethelmore and the others. They took everything from me. Everything when I was this close. I had to know. Had to know where I failed and why. Imagine the value if I'd succeeded. I had something that could make all those hollow infants into something like a real person. And with a few more patrons and a few years' research, who knows? No one has come this close with the legacy. It's why I have to continue. Why I have to risk everything here working in secret. It's why you have to lie to Ethelmore for me. Tell him you've cleared me of all suspicion. No. I'm going to expose you for what you are.
Then I can't let you get in my way either.
Really, buddy? Cheese. I got some cheese. Yeah, he had a he had a pair on him trying to go 6-on-1. Ozzo's research journal. I'm close to a breakthrough. I have found an ample source of essence now, and the vessels have responded positively to infusion with the proxy. Human trials are the next logical course. North Ward patient record gram. Subject is a male, approximately early 30s, powers of speech absent, presumably as a result of the over-fragmentation of his soul. As such, he is the ideal subject for present research. However, experimentation has caused severe pain and induced panic, and I have had to enlist the aid of the guards in transporting him for more recent procedures. Okay.
Hey.
I can do that. That's settled.
Blade Golan.
I can do that. That's settled.
Sweet. Raven Wing. Okay.
Hey.
Yeah, normally I don't pick locks and steal. I'm trying to play sort of an altruistic character. But this guy just died, so. I mean, I didn't kill him. That might be good on her. Yes. One-handed mace. I've got ranged on all of them. So really, hitter or my monk. I would lose my range attack. Yeah. Let's try. Oh, I forgot about this thing. Gerd Haywain Stains. Gerd Haywain Stains, the blue stone scepter, is remarkable in that it has been shaped from a single sapphire. Its only other component is its grip, made of silver bands. It's a bindable item, so... nope, not what I meant to do. Range 10, interrupts, 11-18, crush slash damage, accuracy versus deflection, 20% raw damage. Okay, so that's better. I will do it. Are you sure you want to soulbind Gerd Haywain Stains to Durance? Once bound, this item cannot be equipped by any other character. Bound it. All right. Level up time. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. How does that work? This is the first soulbound item I've gotten. Okay, that's cool. Weapon specialization. Unbending. That's good. Raises to be converted to hits, increasing the minimum damage for melee weapons. It's not bad either. Raises accuracy. Lowers accuracy but increases the deflection of nearby allies. Knocks enemies prone and causes crushing damage. I think this one. 50% of damage taken converted to healing over time for 15 seconds. If you look at the item, it'll show you what you need to do for the next upgrade. Oh, okay. Ah, deal 200 raw damage to enemies with Gerd Haywain Stains to unlock the next level. All right.
Hey.
Okay, so we're survival 10, which means we have come back around and we've got extra damage reduction, healing multiplier, bonus movement, and now accuracy bonus versus creature type. Increases fire rate and reload time with ranged weapons and attack rate with melee weapons. Defense for both. Ranger gains an accuracy bonus when fighting any enemy already engaged by the animal companion. Damage bonus on any creature suffering a damage over time effect. Straight through the... Ooh. Okay. I like this one. Basically shoot an arrow through a guy and then a little bit of damage goes and hits another target. Very cool.
Hey.
All right. Let's go upstairs now.
All right, then.
I'll take a look.
I assume we can't go over here still, but I'll check it out. Oh yeah. Enemies.
Get him!
Quietly now.
Oop.
Ready, Watcher.
Stand still!
All right, then. I'll see what I can find. Hey.
I didn't know what I meant to do there.
Slow and silent.
All right, then. Hey. Hey.
Oh, it is open now. Okay.
Hey.
Hello? Hello?
Hello? Not a whole lot. Oh, the screaming. Make it stop. There's no one to scream. Everybody's dead. I'm getting out of here. It's not safe anymore. What the blazes happened down there? You weren't given permission to ask questions. You were given permission to ask questions. It's complicated. A patient of yours, Usgrim, was working for the Leaden Key, only without knowing it. I have read accounts of people in history who could do what you describe. The accounts are few and brief and never reliable. Some go as far to suggest that they are all the same person. If truly such a person was here among us, plotting our ruin, would that I had a body again and could be of some real use in our time of need. I fear what the future may hold for this place. I am grateful you were able to dispatch the threat before there was loss of innocent life. We very nearly had another scandal on our hands. What of Ozzo? What part did his experiments play in this catastrophe? I confronted him, and I was forced to kill him. Such a waste. There was none more gifted working here. In time, I had hoped to rehabilitate his image. But a mind like his, so full of ideas, leaves little room for patience. I would inquire more into the matter, but in truth, you have done this institution a favor. Were his transgressions ever to reach the public, there would be a terrible uproar. I was blind to have trusted him a second time. I trust you will be more cautious in future inquiries.
Hello!
Hello. Anything new? Okay. Okay. I think we're done here. Animancy in the modern age. Animancy and you.
Hail and well met.
Oh, a bald man with a crooked nose gestures in demonstration over the still body of a patient before a small gathering of interested onlookers. Feeling your gaze, he pauses his discussion. Have you come to sit in? What is it you do here? Close as we are to the Glamfathom Wilds, we get a number of bivouac maimings every year. Survivors dealing with complications from exposure. This fellow here is a severe case. His essence is a mere whisper of what it was. I am early in my research, only beginning to understand how they work, but in time I hope to find a way to protect people from the storm's effects.
Well met, friend. Gods keep you.
Like to know about the sanitarium. It's the mission that attracted me here. The treatments of the disturbed. No one else seems to care about them. Here, they've worked wonders for them. I've seen people cured of insatiable hungers and uncontrollable urges. I've seen the crippled walk and the dysphoric smile. All within these walls. The thought that the Duke could put an end to it with a single order, it keeps me up at night. So. Whoop.
Hail, traveler!
Beg your pardon, I have a message for you. You are summoned to Hadrit's house where Lady Webb wishes to meet with you as soon as possible. They say she's an ancient spider, spinning her nets throughout the city. If she wishes to see you, that either bodes very well or very ill. Tell me about her. Do you not know Lady Webb? She's, well, no one's seen her exactly in a long time, but she's the mistress of Dunrid Row. Has been for a long time, for as long as anyone can remember. She's supposed to be old, older than anybody, and she never leaves her room. Some say she's wasted away and she's just a pile of bones kept animated by dark magics. She's still at it, best anyone can tell, learning things, keeping us safe. Pulling the strings behind the throne, too, it is said. Has a ring of ciphers doing her bidding, telling her everything that goes on. You do wrong in this country. Before you go asking the gods for forgiveness, best you ask Lady Webb first. How did you know where to find me? Well, it's Lady Webb. She knows everything. What's Dunrid Row? A whole mess of ciphers. Running out of Hadrit House. They make it their business to keep the peace, but they don't like to see you come. They don't like you to see them do it. Problems in this city have a way of going away on their own, and when that happens, you can make a pretty good guess as to why. Hadrit House is just over there, my lord, the southwest corner of Brackenbury. You'll find the lady upstairs. Very well. Very well.
Good day, stranger.
Haven't done that yet. Ah! As you near the apparition, you are overcome suddenly by a powerful anxiety that sits like a stone in your stomach. The feeling is not quite real. The recollection of an emotion rather than the emotion itself. It wrenches your insides nevertheless. The apparition's brow is tensed, a look of concern playing across its face.
The other missionaries say you have been neglectful of your duties.
They lie.
They speak out of concern for you. Now tell me, is there something to their concerns?
The pain in your stomach deepens, and you feel for a moment as though you are about to be sick. Your mouth has gone dry. Forgive me, Eminence, I wish to leave the order. The man folds his fingers together and presses them to his mouth thoughtfully.
You have been an apt student, and your convictions have inspired those around you. May I ask what has changed to make you feel this way?
The people we intended to convert, they committed unspeakable acts, sacrifices, mutilations. The apparition exhales slowly and its lips pressed together, a sympathetic rapport in its eyes. It places its hands on your shoulder.
These are the ways of the heathen world.
Surely the gods would do better to destroy us all and start anew.
Perhaps they would. It may come to that one day. This is why we must not fail. The heathens are beyond the gods' reach. They do not know better. We are tasked with delivering them to the gods, so that the gods may heal their souls.
Is such a thing possible?
I have seen it with my own eyes. You will see it too, if you choose to remain. There is no greater calling than the one we have chosen. Words, wealth, will end suffering. Only the gods. Will you give them that chance?
Was it supposed to stutter like that? The knot in your stomach seems to loosen all at once, and the anxiety is replaced with something else entirely, something warm and soothing. And it is something you know you can never repay. As the vision fades, you start to become cognizant of the many odd looks aimed in your direction. Your last response echoes in your mind. I will.
Hey.
Hadrid House. The charred barrel. The young elf is dressed in gaudy robes that he seems ready to cast off. He picks at a heavily brocaded sleeve and continually adjusts the gold chain around his neck. He looks up at you. Did she send you to run me out of town? You can tell her I'm not going anywhere without that medallion. I told Sorrel that I wouldn't let her sell it. If that's what you're here about, then save yourself the trouble. What are you talking about? If you have to ask, then you're obviously not here to shake me down. Sorrel's a courtesan over at the Salty Mast in Andra's Gift. We've been working together for over a year now. I find a noble with more money than sense, fill him up with liquor, and send him her way. They have a good time, and Sorrel takes her fee, and a little extra. 100 coppers here, a trinket there. It's a bounty for us, and these lords and ladies never notice anything is missing. That's dishonest. It's surviving. If those nobles have more wealth than they can hang on to, why should they keep it? Anyway, we always split the bounty, until a week ago. She takes a necklace off some noble. It's an Nguithan medallion, damn near priceless. That relic is sacred to my clan, but she won't part with it for any sum I could afford. And even if I wanted to, I can't go home without it. That's a hard thing. Tell me more about your situation. What makes this medallion so important to you? I grew up in Ir Glanfath with the Shattering Spear clan. We Glanfathans have protected Ingwithan ruins for thousands of years. It's the one duty the gods ask of us in exchange for the freedom to live as we please. But treasure hunters looted the ruins in our territory, and we left the wilds we dwelled for generations. Most of my clanmates scattered to towns around the Deerwood and probably live on crusts of bread. Restoring this medallion to the ruins would earn us the gods' forgiveness. The Shattering Spear could go home. This is all rather fascinating. A single medallion to earn the gods' favor and so return home. It rather reminds me of a story I've heard somewhere. Tell me about Sorrel. She's a courtesan at the Salty Mast over in Andra's Gift. She wasn't born to much, but she's done what she has to in order to escape that. She's a good friend. Without her, I'd probably be living hand to mouth like the rest of the Shattering Spear. But this isn't about her or me. It's about the 40 people in my clan and the way of life we've held onto for generations. I still don't understand why you can't take your money and return to Ir Glanfath. That's because you're used to looking at things with detachment. A community isn't a place, it's a connection to history and meaning. Like an anchor, defending the ruins for the gods gave us purpose. Without that, we're adrift. Does this make any sense to you? Yes. Then you know what it's like, how to care for something you can't explain. I'll see about getting the medallion. You'll find her at the Salty Mast. The only way anyone sees her these days is by paying, so you'll have to go through Maya. But whatever you do, please don't hurt her. On 1, 2.
Good day, stranger.
Well met, what brings you to the Charred Barrel? Who are you? I was a cartographer for the Duke for decades. Crossed the White March half a dozen times and mapped most of the ruins of Thane Bog. A good career, but one suited to younger men. When I came back to Defiance Bay for good, Cliver and a few other friends in the Knights helped me get the rights to refurbish this place. There's strong ale, quality entertainment, and a fresh sea breeze. See your rooms. I don't really need to rest at the moment, but I will take a couple of those. And sell. Let's see. Boom.
Hey. All right, then.
Ooh, Merowith watches you through kohl-rimmed eyes. Kohl-rimmed eyes. She puts her hand on the hilt of her blade, jangling the jewels that hang from her wrist. We don't know each other, stranger. Best we keep it that way. What brings you to the charred barrel? What's it look like? Good wine and a little peace and quiet. And scary and doesn't ask too many questions. You don't seem like a Brackenbury local. I'm a sailor and a liberator of certain goods. And the nice thing about the snobs here is that they're usually too polite to ask more. Okay. Ooh.
A simple task. That's settled.
Okay. Not gonna steal. Not gonna steal. All right. I think that's going to be it for today. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Thank you, Rossi, for subscribing or for following, and thanks for chatting with me and giving me those tips. I appreciate it very much. I will be streaming on Friday afternoon, most likely, around 3:30 Central Time. That'll be my next stream. And check me out on Saturday evening around 8 or 9. My wife and I will be streaming some retro games. And that's going to be my schedule for the foreseeable future. All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching. And we'll see you next time.